Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining Education USA Ukraine channel. I'm happy to see all of you and a happy first week of spring 2021. I hope you're all doing fine and feel healthy. And I am happy to introduce our speaker today, Alexandra Sahin. She's Education Abroad Coordinator at Texas University, and today we will be speaking about funding opportunities and how to finance your studies and how the scholarships are created and how to be successful apply for the scholarship. I think this topic is very interesting for a lot of Ukrainian students, and I'm sure you will find a lot of interesting information, useful information from Alexandra. And as a reminder, we are here at Education USA Ukraine for you, and you can always sign for the free consultations if you have questions about your funding, about the opportunities of exchange programs, diploma programs, about the process and procedure, how to apply to American universities, any question related to higher education in the United States. And as usual, we will have some time at the end of the webinar for your questions. So please feel free to leave your question in the chat box, and Alexandra will be happy to answer all of your questions. So Alexandra, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Katerina, and I am so glad to have this opportunity to present about scholarship. So welcome to Texas State University presentation on what makes you a strong candidate for a scholarship. This presentation is designed for prospective international students, and we welcome you. So at the beginning, we want to address the question, what makes you a strong candidate for the scholarship? So in this slide, we listed several characteristics that are important to become a successful candidate for the scholarship. So some of these characteristics are that person needs to be ambitious, and student needs to demonstrate that they have great academic and personal skills, and they have high grades, and also different hobbies and participation in sport activities also help students to receive scholarships. And another characteristic is your career goals. It's very important that you know that you have your goals for 5 and 10 years, and you can demonstrate your goals in writing a successful essay to submit for the scholarships. Also, your research interests are important, as well as life experiences. These are not the only characteristics that are important for the scholarships. You can also need to be show determination and drive to be successful. And the most important thing in order to be successful candidate, you need to know about all your options and also understand the process. So that's what we will help you in our next slides. So to understand the scholarship options for international students, we will talk at first regarding distinguish between need-based and merit-based scholarships. Need-based scholarship is usually designed for students who cannot demonstrate that they have enough funding. So in the United States, most need-based scholarships are for domestic students. As an international student, you need to show that you have enough funding in order to study at the United States. That's why it's this option is not always available for international students. However, merit-based scholarship is the ideal option for the international students. Merit-based scholarship are awarded based on your academic abilities, and also specific skills related to your sport activities or any other experience that you can show that can distinguish you from other candidates. And these merit-based scholarships are ideal for graduate, for international students. In other options that student needs to be aware of, they are related to internal and external scholarships. Internal opportunities are offered directly to the institution you are applying in. And these scholarships and these funding can include scholarships, grants, and also they can help you with the employment-based financial awards like assistantships, or it can be teaching assistantship, it can be research assistantship. So when you're searching for the scholarship, do not only look at the word scholarships, but also include in your search item such word as grants and awards. It also helps you to find the best option for you. And there are also another option is external scholarships. This option comes from other organizations outside the universities. It can be any company that can offer this opportunity for students, and it can be a variety of different organizations that offer these scholarships. So these are two main distinguish. So you need to know that there is need-based versus merit-based, and for international students, it's the better choice is merit-based scholarship. And they usually indicate in the description, is it need-based or merit-based scholarship. And you also need to remember that there is internal, that's the university when you're applying, and also external, just outside the university. There are different organizations that offer their scholarships. So now we will talk about required, what are the requirements in order to apply for the scholarships. So one of the things that make you successful candidate is that you need to understand everything related to the scholarship. If this is internal scholarship, read all information about the university that is offering the scholarship and include this information in your application, in the essay that you will be writing. Always include something about this specific university or department that you are applying. If it's external scholarship, also mention some important information about this organization. So this is the most important thing. You need to know everything about this organization who is offering the scholarship. Another thing that is very important, that if you have any question regarding the scholarship, you should always reach out to the person who is responsible for the specific scholarship. And this is in the United States, it's normal that when you have a question that you will reach out to any person who can give you more details, and within 3 days you will receive a response. So always reach out to the person listed as the contact person for the specific scholarship. And of course, you need to read instruction very carefully. If the requirement is that the essay should be for 500 words, so then do not go over the limit. You need strictly follow the instruction, otherwise you will be automatically disqualified. Also, if you have a professor who can help you with reviewing your application, definitely reach out to them and ask your professor or friend, anyone who can review your application. It's very important that someone else look at it and give you some good feedback. And submit all your application, all the required document by the specified deadline. Because when you miss the deadline, unfortunately, you will be disqualified. So you need to meet all the deadlines. And so what are the resources that you will need in order to complete the merit-based scholarship? The first one is statement of purpose. Statement of purpose usually takes a lot of time to develop. But once it develops, you can use it for all applications that you applied. When I came to the United States, I studied in 3 different universities in the United States. I applied for many scholarships, and for statement of purpose, it took me probably several days to develop, because in a very condensed form, you need to write, to give the information that will put you above all others, and that can make your application very appealing. So you can start writing it right now, even before you apply for any other scholarship. So you have already statement of purpose ready. And then you you might need some edits when you will be applying for different scholarship, but you will use most of the time the same statement of purpose. And usually they are giving you instruction what they want to include in the statement of purpose. Essays, they can be different in length. It depends on each scholarship. And you do need to follow all the guidelines that will be specified in the scholarships. And once you complete it, you probably will have several drafts before you will finalize the essay. And always ask someone else to look at your essay and give you some good feedback. Because it's one of the main criteria that they will look at before approving your application. And of course, your transcript, you do need to have higher GPA in order to be accepted. So work really hard if you need to improve your GPA. Letters of recommendation. For most applications, they will require letter recommendations. So letter of recommendation, you can ask from the faculty members, professor, from your current university, or you can ask if you volunteered before, so you can ask from your supervisor or someone who is familiar with your experience. And in the United States, it's normal that students are asking a letter recommendation from the faculty. But of course, you can ask only from the professor that you had a good relationship with and that you demonstrated that you have good academic achievements. In my capacity, I was asked a lot of time to ask letter recommendation for my students. So it takes a time to write these letters, but your success will depend on the support in these letters from the professors. So already think who you can ask for these letters. So it's very important to have the good letters of recommendations. And of course, your resume. Try to build your resume and just add as many activities that you participated at to this resume so that it makes you distinguished from other candidates. And if you're the recipient of awards, list everything on your resume, on your application. These things really matters, all the awards that you receive and the experience that you have. So all those are the resources that you will have to use in order to create a successful application for the scholarship. So in order to prepare yourself for the scholarship, you need to start with the volunteering. If you don't have enough work experience, then definitely start with the volunteering. Volunteering helps you to grow your network of people, and it will also help you to get a job, and it will definitely lead you to other level. During all my years that I have been studying in the United States, and I studied 10 years altogether, I volunteer each time when I was studying at the university. Beside my regular work that I have, I was working part-time on the campus. I was also doing a lot of volunteering work. And volunteering is something that really brings you joy to your life, and it also increase your, expand your experience, add more that you can add to your resume. And as I mentioned before, it can lead you to other important, like it can lead you to finding job and meet very influential people in your life. So volunteer is very important thing in order to add to your resume. Then joining honor societies. If you have if you have higher grades, you will receive an email asking you to participate in honor societies, and that's what I will recommend you always join those honor societies. It will distinguish you from other candidates. When I did my first degree in the United States, I didn't know about those honor societies, and each time when I was receiving invitation to join, I rejected it. I didn't know how important was it. During my second, when I was studying in the second year university, that's when I started joining all those honor societies. And I saw the difference, how my resume looked like when I added this honor societies and when I also participate in their events. So these are also important things to consider. And if you're interested in research, so definitely try opportunities to participate in different research projects. It can add more, it will really enrich your experience and also your resume. We also want to share with example of one of our international students. She studied at Texas State. She was learning English at our university, so she volunteered at food bank, and she was honored as a volunteer of the month. And it was very important because this information helped her later when she was applying for the degree at Texas State. It helped her. So it's again like volunteering is very important. What you need to know. So who is the right person to ask for scholarship advice? Of course, like at first you need to reach out to Education USA staff. They have all information that you need to know, and also you can ask. If you're applying for our university, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to International Affairs, and we will forward you to the person who can help you with a scholarship. If you are applying for other universities, also you can find this information on the website, and that will help you to and they will help you to find what is the best scholarship fit for you. This is on this slide we have another example of the scholarship, which is donor-based. Donor-based is usually when someone from your university, it can be staff member, faculty that donate money for specific categories. In this case, it's Kenneth Wilson. He, together with his wife, they create a scholarship for international students from Latin America. So, as of now, we don't have a scholarship specifically from a student coming from Europe, but hopefully we will have soon. But this is one good example that you can also apply for this scholarship, donor scholarship, and each university they also have donor scholarships. The only distinguish with the donor scholarship is that they're usually awarded to a small number of students, like 2-3 students will be competing for this award. And once you receive this award, it's anticipated that you will write a thank you letter to the donor. So in this slide, we just show the thank you letter from the person. Mariana Jacobo Sandoval. She was international student from Mexico, and she was the recipient of this donor award. So this is another option for international student. If you are the recipient of donor award, always say thank you letter to them, acknowledge them. In this slide, we also give you example of some international students who receive award. Very popular external scholarship is called PEO, which International Peace Scholarship. It's mostly for graduate students, and at Texas State, we have 15 graduate students who were the recipient of this award, and they can receive up to $15,000 for this award. It requires a lot of work, but it's worthwhile to applying for this award. And so this is another example of student who receive scholarship here at Texas State. Her story is very unique. Anna Streithart, she came to Texas State as an international student. She came through our office. She studied only one semester at Texas State, but while she was studying here, she loved it so much that she decided to apply for graduate college. And during this one semester, she developed a very good relationship with the faculty members. So they wanted her to return back and to do her graduate program. And they also offer her assistantship. She had graduate assistantship. She applied for this external scholarship. She received $15,000 for external scholarship. And she also received scholarship from the graduate college. So this case just showed that it's possible, and it might be one of you who will be selected for this scholarship and all other funding opportunities. But you do need to do your work also in order to be one of these recipients. And you also need to know the difference that if you are applying for undergraduate program, they usually have separate scholarship for separate funding opportunities for graduate scholarships. And in each university, they will separate it separately for undergraduate and for graduate programs. If you are applying for graduate programs, they almost each university, they have separate funding for from the specific department. So if you're applying, for example, for education department, you need to check what scholarship they have just for education department. Separately, you need to check what scholarship they have for graduate college. Graduate college, they have separate scholarships. And all others funding available for international students. When I was applying for Texas State to do my PhD program, every year I was applying for my departmental scholarship, and I was receiving departmental scholarships. I also, every year I was receiving scholarship from the graduate college, and I also have doctoral assistantship. So all things are very important to know before you're applying to the university. You need to verify what funding are available for students who are applying for the specific program and for the specific degree. At Texas State University, if students are applying for the graduate college, we have person dedicated to help students to find scholarships. And it's mostly for graduate college. So if you are here at Texas State, this person will search with you what scholarships are available. This person also help you review your essay, the statement of purpose. So this is a specifically designed position at the university that is helping graduate students to find funding for their degree. So in other universities, they probably have also a similar position. You need to search it and verify what they have for other students. And something that is good to know about Texas State University, that we do receive increase in funding for fall 2021. So now we have 15 million that will be awarded for first time freshmen. So it's also good to know, just to review this information when you're applying. And for this, for fall 2021, we will not, a student will not be required to submit SAT and ACT test results in order to be admitted. So this is just some good news that we can share with you. So now I'm open for the questions. So any question that you have regarding scholarship, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you, Alexandra, very much. We just want to mention we had our chat disabled at first couple of minutes, but now it's working well. So please feel free to leave your questions if you have any in our chat. And Alexandra, if you can tell us more about the need-based scholarship, does Texas State University have those? Because I believe you spoke about the merit-based scholarships only, right? So do you have the option for the students who have financial needs, or how, if yes, what's the requirement? Yeah. What's the position?
Need-based, that's when students need to show that they do not have enough funding. The problem with the international student is when they're applying to study in the U.S., they need to show, in order to receive I-24, they need to show that they have enough funding in order to be admitted. So in order to be admitted, so they automatically disqualify for need-based. But while they're studying here, and then they have some financial issues, so they can apply for different need-based scholarship later in the process, and they're called, like in some university, they call them like emergency funding, that just for students. For some reason they lost their funding and they cannot support themselves anymore. So there still can be options for international students to apply need-based, but it's usually later when they already accepted, they're studying, and there were changes in the way that they receive funding. But in order to be admitted to the university, they do need to show that they have enough funding. Otherwise, they will not receive visa and they will not be able to cross the border. So this is one of the hardship for international students. And I came to the United States as an international student. So I know how hard it was to show the funding that you have to study. But I would say like later, when they're already studying here, they can apply, but they need to verify each university will have their own requirements, but they call it in some cases like emergency funding, because there always are cases when international students for some reason like lost the person who was funding and cannot support them anymore financially. So it's also like another thing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. But what in case of the merit-based scholarships? They can receive an offer while they're still applying to the university. Is it correct? And show it as a proof of financial resource to the embassy.
Yes, and merit-based is like they will be mostly like looking at the academic achievements. Yeah, and if they receive it. Before they go to the embassy, if they have confirmation that they are the recipient of this award, then it will be additional what they can add, what they can show as a proof of their financial funding, that they have award, that they are one of the recipient of this award. So it will definitely help to receive that.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question about GPA. What level of GPA you need in order to apply for a scholarship at your university?
The higher the better, but of course they will look at other criteria also. So the highest here is 4.0. So if you have 4.0, it's already put you at the top. But it also depends like on other criteria. Probably I will say like from 3.0 and up, that's when they will be reviewing your application. Some scholarship they will specify that only like starting 3.5, but they will not tell you that it should be 4.0. 4.0 is like it's the highest top, and not everyone in the United States have 4.0. I would say like from 3.0 to 3.5, it's maybe like average that student might have. So it's the higher you have, the better. And if you have time right now to work to increase your GPA, it will be really great, because GPA matters, especially when it's and if the scholarship is internal from the university. They will GPA will be #1 requirements, and then they will look at your volunteering work, any awards you have, and since you have higher GPA, you already are part of honor societies. So it will also add up some points for you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. What about the graduate programs? I know you mentioned that the undergraduate programs, they do not require SAT to apply for merit-based scholarship. Do you know if the graduate programs require from GRE test in order to apply for this scholarship?
It depends on the programs. When I was applying here for doctoral program, in the department that I applied, they didn't require GRE. They have one optional step, so that they require interview with the faculty members. So they do need to look at the specific institution and the specific departments. So I also, at the same time, I was applying for to other institutions, and they do require GRE. So then GRE will be part for that will impact if you will receive scholarship or not. But some departments, they do not require. So the department that I applied, it was adult professional community education. They didn't require GRE because they came to the conclusion that this is not the proof that someone is capable to be a successful candidate. So they prefer to have in-person interview and just hear your story, what you can bring to the table, and how this program will help you to grow and just to go with your career. So they do need to check like each department in each university. But as a general rule, GRE or GMAT is required.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I don't see any other questions, but if you was wondered about this outside scholarship opportunities, because we usually tell our students that they might look for some local diaspora, like for example Ukrainian diaspora funding. If it exists, does university usually know about those fundings? If the student addresses this question to the university personnel, do you have the information to share with our students in this case?
Most universities, they do their own search on the existing external scholarship, and they post it on our website. When I check our website, especially for graduate program, they listed all existing that they're aware of external scholarships. And student can do a search just by major, by department. And again, like we have person here at Texas State who is helping students to find those external scholarships. I was looking when I was studying before, I was looking on my Rowan for all those external scholarships. It's not easy to find them. So now I'm really happy that university is providing this assistance. And right now I have students who also received this PEO scholarship. She received like $10,000. She was student worker in our office. And now she's applying for doctoral degree, and she will be again applying for the same scholarship. She asked me to write a letter of recommendation. So it's possible. So now when I see like all the successful stories of it's possible to receive these scholarships. So this is great time right now. Like university really helping everyone with how to locate those external scholarships, and they're helping them to draft the essays and statement of purpose, and they also help review letters of recommendation, because all those things are matters together.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the information. Thank you for the presentation. If you can share your contact information with our audience, we would be grateful in case if they have more questions. I think maybe you can share it with us, and we will share it with the audience later per request. Again, thank you very much, Alexandra, for your time, for the presentations, and have a good night, everybody. Have a nice rest of the day, and see you next Thursday. We will have another subject. Oh, okay. So, but just a second. We have another question. What about psychology area? I believe. Do you have a scholarship? Well, you say you have scholarships dependent on the department, right? So each department has a separate budget.
Yeah. So if this is a graduate candidate, then they need to check like the undergraduate scholarship, then they need to check under master program for psychology. So they also have funding. They can also check for assistantship, teaching or research assistantship. And the same with a graduate student. So check specifically for the department, and then university, and then external also. So there are a lot of options. Now it's up to the student if they want to be successful and look for all available options.
Okay, thank you so much again, and have a nice evening, everybody. See you next Thursday. Take care.